ABC. It is old metal rocker. 65 here. I have another installment of What's Been Banging My Head Lately. Got a mix of everything. Some metal, some 70s, some glam, some demos, stuff like that to show you over the last, what was this? Probably 3-4 weeks ago I did one of these. But let's get with it. I'll show you. But before we do that, if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you'll get updates of all my videos upcoming in future weeks, future days. And if you got a comment, leave it below and hit the like button. So yeah, today is what's banging my head lately. Like I say, it's been a little bit of everything. I'm going to start off with some early 70s glam rock. These guys were introduced to me about 1972? No, about 1973. And it was with this album here, White Witch. They're a self-titled band, or album here. Or this is actually a spiritual greeting, excuse me. And this one, I'm getting confused. Actually, let me get back up a little. This is what I was introduced to, was this White Witch. Glam rock. Only did 2 official studio albums under this name. Definitely one of the first bands to do glam rock, along with probably David Bowie, probably Slade, probably even the Sweet early on. But these guys were definitely glam, but damn were they good. Man, I miss these guys. They're self-titled. And then what I had just showed you before, this is their spiritual greeting. And these are all OGs, and these things are in absolutely mint shape. They're as white as the day they were out, and but they're under good protective sleeves. But yeah, good stuff here. This one here I think has class of 2000, and if I'm not mistaken, it has Everybody Must Get Stoned. Nope, that is on the first album. Yes, but nonetheless, this is good too. And then there was supposed to be a third White Witch, but the lead singer left and went on his own, and he put out this album here. Of course, it was Ron Goddard bringing all the house rules. I mean, it's White Witch all the way through the album. Killer stuff. All 3 are very excellent albums. I mean, but this one is a promo. So, but yeah, fantastic stuff. Glam rock. And then I'll be getting into a couple of boots here. Let's see what I have. I think there was only a couple that I had just started to get into. Yeah, that was it. So anyway, the 2 boots I've been listening to back today. I just finished up with this Genesis Live at the Rainbow in 1973. It's a double album set put out by Bernie Records probably around 2020. But originally this is a soundboard recording from 73. It actually sounds pretty good. But yeah, that's one of them I've been listening to. And then the other one was this Van Halen Women and Children First sessions, demos. The sound quality on this is, it's okay in spots, and then other spots it doesn't sound as good, but don't see it. This is on the Yellow Dog boot label. More likely these are European labels, but some of these are really good quality. And then in honor of Coburn Farr, who passed away a couple days ago, I played Annihilator, Never Neverland. Of course, before this one was, what was it, Alice in Hell, I think? I can't remember anyway. But also that singer is gone too now, so we've lost two singers from Annihilator. But very old. 60, what was he, 66? Coburn Farr. But yeah, great album. One of my favorites. I love the early Annihilator all the way up to Remains. And hopefully those album or those CDs will be coming out of vinyl this year. Hopefully. We'll see. But anyway, great one. Annihilator. Really been cranking it. This, I've had this for years. And the other day I got an inkling to listen to this. I'm not a huge death metal fan by any means. If the vocals aren't guttural, or if the vocals are guttural, I will not listen to it. At least want to understand a little bit of it, and this band did it, and I didn't give these guys a fair shake. Now I got to go and pick up the remaining albums. Death, Leprosy, wow. I heard it a couple times when I bought it, but I just don't remember it very well. But I played it the other day, and this is fantastic. Wow. Especially side 2. Man. Understandable vocals, but still retain that death metal vibe, you know, in the vocals, but not overly harsh. Chuck really kills it on guitar. I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, I was sleeping on this, but now I'm not, so definitely going to pick the others up. And then I haven't heard this in a long, long time. I didn't want to play this one. I wanted to play the one prior to this, and I just can't remember I think it was maybe just the self-titled. But anyway, I played this. I ain't played this in a long time. And I'm talking about Les Dudek in Ghost Town Parade. If you don't know Les Dudek, a killer guitarist out of the 70s. He's actually still playing. He's more of a blues guitarist now, but in the 70s he was more of a rock blues guitarist, you know, a little bit faster paced, but I would classify this as Mahogany Rush meets the Allman Brothers. This particular album, I mean, musically it has some of that Allman Brothers feel. Vocally and guitar-wise, it has the Frank Marino feel. You can hear it throughout this, but that's my description. Good stuff. Very good catalog. I mean, this guy has, what is it, 5 or 6 full-length albums. I have most of them. But yeah, Les Dudek, Ghost Town Parade just came out in 75 on, what is it, Columbia. 78 actually. Killer. If you like Frank Marino, you'll like Les Dudek. And then I've had this for a long time too, but I read it as the band Lucy. This is a band out of the 70s. They only did one album. This band is called Lily, from the 70s. Oh God, this is really prog rock, hard rock, psych, all intermixed throughout this album. I mean, this is fantastic. This came out at, what was that? I think it was 72, if I'm not mistaken, originally, or 71. 73 it came out and reissued in 2011 on the Molesh record label, but fantastic stuff. Hidden gems in them 70s that people have never heard. And this is another one. And I thought the name of the band was also Lady Killer. It's not. It's called Mouse. Wow, what a gem this is. Led by legendary guitarist Ray Russell. He worked with John Barry, Seven, Graham Bond, Georgie Fame, Running Man, and bass player Jeff Watts, Steel Mill. Mouse released their only album, highly collectible, in '73. An eclectic mix of progressive sounds, hard rock, psych, blues, with glam, stunning lead guitar. I mean, fantastic. I mean, this thing is just... I mean, do yourself a favor if you're really a huge fan of the 70s. And I know a lot of us do love the 70s. Of course, we're familiar with all the radio bands, you know, back then. But there were some absolutely killer bands that, again, only released one album. Here's one of them right here. I believe these guys were out of the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I can't remember, but... yeah, fantastic. Mouse with Lady Killer. And then I picked this up a number of years ago. And last couple of weeks I've been getting into more Doom. And so, you know, now that my whole record collection is, everything is all alphabetized, you know, I can go through it nice and cleanly. I've gone through it so many times now since I moved in this room that you know, if I'm looking for something, I kind of know exactly where it is in my collection. You know, what's, you know, if it's a middle, back, or to the right, to the left, in the middle bit where they are on the racks. But anyway, so yeah, I was getting into a Doom vibe, and I started it off with this couple of weeks ago. Let me see if I still have it here. I think I do. But maybe it was not on this one. I could have swore it was. Anyway, I've been getting into Bedeman. Of course, if you're not familiar with Bedeman, has 3 members from early Pentagram out of the 70s. Members were Randy Palmer, Jeff O'Keefe, and Bobby Liebling, and this is A Child of Darkness from the original master tapes. This was on Relapse, put this out on their 25th anniversary of their being a label. And but yeah, a lot of these are, the quality is iffy because this was recorded directly to a reel-to-reel, so it's not professionally recorded. There are 3 tracks on the album that are better quality and a lot better listening, but you know, so you're getting the early Pentagram stuff that was not in a studio, maybe not even in a garage. It could be, I think it was in a basement, if I read that. Well, it was basement, garage. It was one of them too, and they recorded it on cheap plastic mics to a reel-to-reel, and that's what a lot of this stuff is. But it's killer if you're into Bedeman. And then I was getting into Danish band Altar of Oblivion and the 7 Spirits album. And wow, this is killer stuff. It's not really heavily doom laden. It definitely flows between the doom and traditional metal. You know, it kind of just flows that way through predominantly the whole album. But I mean, if you're a fan of Merciful Fate and Candlemass, especially Candlemass, you'll like this stuff. Altar of Oblivion. I think they have 5 albums out. This is put out by Shadow Kingdom Records. What was this one? I think this one was a number of years back. Let's see, what was it? 2017. I think you can still get them over there, but yeah, this is great. And then the other day I was really wanting to hear this band's music for a while. I haven't heard it in a long time, you know, and I kind of wanted to refresh myself. And so anyway, I was going through my collection, and I wanted to hear some Legs Diamond. First one I pulled out, probably by far their best and heaviest. Progressive, melodic, hard rock, progressive rock at times, but to me this has kind of an Angel vibe, you know. If you put the two bands together on tour, I mean, the similarities in their music is pretty close, I think, you know, if you follow me. But this is by far their best one. This came out in '77. So I think it only has 8 tracks on it, 7 tracks actually. It's the music, great track. Stage Fright, Satin Peacock, great track. Rock and Roll Man, I mean, wow. But yeah, fantastic debut album from these guys. And then, of course, I had to play this one here, A Diamond is a Hard Rock. If I were to say, this is probably my second favorite. I just love the artwork of this fist blasting through a steel door and shit, you know, with the diamond on it, you know. So, but yeah, this is great too. It has some A Diamond is a Hard Rock, great track. Woman, fantastic. Kind of a slower, not a, I wouldn't really call it a ballad, but it has that ballad vibe to it. I mean, great song. This one came out in '77 as well, so, you know, a lot of bands are damn near putting out 2 albums a year. These guys, Judas Priest, a few others, but yeah, this is my second favorite. And my third one would be this, and I only need the 3 in the catalog because I don't really like anything after this. To me, they just really fell off. But Firepower is their third album. This came out in, what was it, '79? Yeah, '79 on the Cream Records label. Whereas these were more of a bigger label, Mercury. So evidently Mercury dropped them, and so they went to Cream Records and did this one. Great albums. Love those Legs Diamond. And then a band that basically, I think they only did 1 album. I think these guys only did 1 album. And they're on the Panama Records label. Hard rock, progressive, maybe a little psych, but the band is called Grand Max. And the album is called A Ninth Alive. But, I mean, there was so much progressive rock back in the '70s that a lot of people never heard, you know. We all know the Yeses, the Asias, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, you know, bands like that, Genesis, Gentle Giant, you know, so forth. But, you know, a lot of these bands never got the exposure, but this is killer. And then, I'm going to show you this. So, some of you might know the year, but what year do you think this was released? Some of you might say the '70s. Damn sure looks like it's a release from the '70s, don't it? But this was actually released in 2024. The band is called Magic Potion. They're out of, I think these guys are out of Baltimore, Maryland, and they're a 3-piece, a trio. Their music is definitely '70s infused. Hard rock, progressive rock, bluesy. They definitely don't sound modern in this day and age for what they play. It's definitely '70s. I mean, if you haven't gotten this, this is really, really good. And this is on the Riding Easy Records label. Released last year. Good stuff. And then I've been listening to another 70s band called Short Cross, and what was the name of that album? The album Arising. This is kind of a cult classic. It's on the Outsider label, kind of has that Vertical Swirl feel. Killer hard rock, blues rock. I mean, these guys are really good. Maybe a little Led Zeppelin-ish at times, but you know, these are still out there. I think this was actually released in, let's see, 2014. So originally 72 this came out. You know, back then, you know, limited pressings, very limited, you know, limited areas where people can get this stuff. But it's out there. It's on the Grizzly label, Outsiders, or this is off of no, wait. Let's see here. Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. Anyway, good stuff here. And then I had to go back to this classic album. Haven't heard this in a long time. I prefer Electric Warrior, but this T-Rex, the Slider, great album. And glam, definitely glammy, glam rock. You know, of course, he was with, you know, of course, the New York Dolls, David Bowie, Slade, you know, bands that had that glam look. Of course, Mark Bolan, T-Rex, you know, too bad we lost him, but good stuff here. It's on the, what is it, the Reprise label, come out in 72, but yeah, fantastic. And then a release from, I think, what is it, Dead End Record, or Deadline Records, but it's part of the Purple Pyramid label group. And I'm trying to think of the other one. I can't think of it right offhand. But anyway, they also been releasing some killer stuff and some Pat Travers, and this is Black Betty. And it's just covers. Of course, they do Black Betty, Whole Lotta Rosie, 205 Degrees, Boom Boom, Out Go the Lights, Give Me Back My Bullets. And of course, and side B has Snortin' Whiskey, Last Child, Superstitious, Waiting for the Bus, and Jesus Left Chicago. It's actually a really good album. Yeah, it's part of Cleopatra, actually. This was actually originally released in 2009 on Deadline and reissued in 2020 as part of the Cleopatra label, but killer covers. And I was going through my music here the other day, and I'd go buy this, I'd see it, I'd go buy it, and finally today I picked it out of my record collection. I wanted to hear this, and this is all I need. Tommy Two-Tone and 2. Of course, we all know it has Jenny Jenny. I mean, how many thousands of times have we all heard Jenny Jenny? But you know what? Songs after that are absolutely really good songs that written great, especially Bernadilla. Man, it kind of has that Jackson Browne vibe a little bit on this, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't just 8675309 Jenny. The rest of this is a really good album. You know, pop rock, hard rock, whatever you want to call it, but you know, I dig myself some pop with my metal. And I pulled this out today. I hadn't heard this in quite a long time. Band out of Italy, and they're it is Ancelotti and the Chain Goes On, some Italian heavy metal, just straightforward heavy metal band. It's under the Jolly Roger Records label. Of course, this is a blue. And but yeah, if you like Omen, if you like Sin Starlet, I'm trying to think of Jack Star, kind of in that same vein. So good stuff. See what this came out. Let's see, I'm not gonna open it up, but I can't remember what year this came out. I think I got it back. I think this came out about 2014, maybe. If anybody knows, I'm probably wrong, but anyway, Ancelotti. And then I had to hear this. I haven't heard this in a long time either. Some epic metal. There was, I think 4 of these albums came out, were put out on vinyl recently, as of probably a couple years back. And they were put out by Cult Metal Classics, and a lot of it is the early stuff from Cauldron Born. And I had to take out Legacy of Atlantean Kings. And, but yeah, I mean, I love epic metal. Let's see, what year was this one? This one, yeah, it originally came out in '94. So I don't think it was pressed originally on vinyl back in the early days, probably just CD. And so Cult Metal Classics got the right, and I think these were, what did I say, a few years back, they came out about 2022. I think there was 4 albums put out by Cult Metal Classics. I have 3 of them. I need to pick up the other one, you know, and I don't know if they're up in price or what, but you know, good stuff if you like epic metal. And then had to get into some Chicago heavy metal from a band that's, you could classify them heavy metal, hard rock, new wave of traditional heavy metal, you know, however, you know, whatever album they record, you know, it's all good stuff. These guys, it's been a while now since they put out a new album. I think it's been probably 4 years maybe, but I'm talking about High Spirits out of Chicago. Killer stuff. This is an indie release, so more than likely, I believe I picked this up from the band, ordered it on their website. I don't know if these are still available, but nothing fancy, you know, but man, it's a good album. This is more straightforward. I think they wanted to see what the reaction would be with the style they were playing, you know, and evidently it was great. But so this came out, and then this is a little bit older one here. I haven't heard this in a while. High Spirits, Hard to Stop. This is a fantastic album, put out by High Roller Records, and I'm trying to see what year that was. 2020, yeah. So this is actually, I believe this is their latest album, I think. I'm not sure if there's one after this. Anybody know, let me know. But anyway, man, this is, you know, as they got older, did more albums, they got a little bit heavier, you know, and you can hear the maturity in their songs, the music, the songwriting. I mean, very talented band here, and, you know, out of Chicago. So, anyway, guys, that's all I have for What's Been Banging. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Stay heavy.